Welcome back to my channel. I'm Mercedes, and today we're discussing the film The Pursuit of Happyness. I chose this film for so many reasons. Long story short, I was invited to speak at Kingdomwood Film Festival, and they wanted to hear about my story and entertainment, how I landed my first job, and so many things kind of along my journey in entertainment and the ebbs and flows of it all. And it really had me thinking about what I wanted to say. And I landed on the film The Pursuit of Happyness because it really felt like the pursuit of happiness while I was chasing my dreams. So I wanted to break this film down for anybody who's dream chasing. If you're on the grind and you have a goal in mind and you're just waiting for a breakthrough or waiting for something to happen, I really wanted to go through The Pursuit of Happyness. So here are 5 keys that we can learn from the film The Pursuit of Happyness. Quick housekeeping. So The Pursuit of Happyness came out in 2006. It's a life struggle story for single father Chris Gardner, who's played by Will Smith. He's evicted from their apartment. He and his young son find themselves alone with no place to go. Even though Chris eventually lands a job as an intern at a prestigious brokerage firm, the position pays no money. The pair must live in shelters and endure many hardships, but Chris refuses to give into his despair as he struggles to create a better life for himself and his son. So if you haven't seen the film Pursuit of Happyness, I say go check it out. It's actually now on Hulu right now that you can watch if you have Hulu. Check it out. It's a great film, really inspirational, all about dream chasing. So, but for those of you who have seen the film, I'm going to go through some quick notes that I took about the film that we can dissect. So first things first, does money buy happiness? So in the film, you'll see that Will Smith's character, Chris, is really out of his luck. He's losing a little bit of everything. His dreams are like quickly coming apart, and he's chasing money and really trying to figure out how to provide for his family, how to stay on his feet. And so this idea of does money buy happiness, I feel like you have to know how to be happy yourself first, because the money only magnifies a vice. I think money only magnifies a vice in your life. And if your vice is not a healthy vice, then you're doomed to fail anyway. So some people you'll see like they reach these high levels of success and then they come crashing down. I think it really depends on what your vice is, because if your vice is drugs, sex, money, rock and roll, hookers, and all that jazz, then you might come crashing down. But if your vice is something that you can pour into yourself and kind of go higher, then you might, level up. So how do we prioritize money in our lives, and what do we use it for? I think that'll determine whether or not the money will make you happy or not, if that makes sense. I believe me, I don't have all the money in the world, but I do okay. And I pour my money into myself. I pour my money into my overall well-being, my health, my mental health, my physical health, and all those things. And it makes me a better person. So money can buy you happiness depending on what you use your money for. Now, kudos to you. Second point I wanted to bring up was, okay, so in the film, I have noted is genius level talent, and his gift made room for him. So this genius level talent, you'll see in the film that Chris Gardner can solve a Rubik's Cube, and they kind of highlight this as like, this is clearly like showing you some of the genius that he has. Like he's able to do it in record time. And this is around the time when Rubik's Cubes had just came out and people couldn't figure them out for the life of him. Will Smith is actually known for being able to actually solve a Rubik's Cube. And I don't know if it necessarily takes genius level talent, but in the film, you'll see Chris Gardner does this in a cab with the guy he's trying to get an interview with. And the guy is blown away that Chris Gardner can do this. Like it was something, Chris Gardner had been trying to get his attention for so long and trying to get in there, trying to get his foot in the door and trying to get an interview. And the guy just kind of kept blowing him off. But when he solved the Rubik's Cube, like so quickly, the guy was blown away. So his gift, his genius level gift, made room for him to get an interview, to get his foot in the door. So that's just a testament of like using your gifts. Sometimes your gifts will get you in rooms that your mouth can't get you in. That's the second note. Third takeaway. Oh yeah. Okay, so what I have noted is a woman having a lack of faith in her man and the man that she chose and the one she once believed in. So what I find interesting, because I've seen this film a few times, but this last time that I watched it, I didn't realize that Chris Gardner had used all of his life savings, him and his wife's life savings, to invest into these scanners that he's that he's trying to sell. And at one point, she clearly believed in his vision because she was with them. They're smiling, they're taking pictures. They got all these scanners that he wants to sell, and everything is good, right? They spent their entire life savings to chase their dreams, to take a leap of faith, and she's with him on that. And then all of a sudden, these scanners aren't selling, and they're falling on hard times, and they're behind on rent, all of those things. And now she doesn't have faith in the man that she once trusted. So here's the thing. Because I've been just on a journey, haven't we all? And what I've come to realize is that even though women sometimes can be looking for a provider in a man, your ultimate provider is God. God is your provider. God, even if your man comes in and he's providing for you, that is a vessel that God is using to provide for you. So I think it's when you have a lack of faith in a man who's providing for you, you really have a lack of faith in God. Because if you trust that God will provide for you ultimately, then it's gonna come through. And I think sometimes we get that misconstrued. Like, first of all, no man, woman, man, whoever is gonna come into your life and roll out a red carpet for you. I mean, they might. I mean, we see it happen on Instagram all the time. So who's to say? Okay, it ain't happened for me yet. But I'm just saying, God is your provider. And once you know that's where all of your blessings flow from, you kind of relieve pressure and stress on people that you put unnecessarily. And I think if she would have just shifted her mind frame and shifted her perspective of her husband, things could have been different. You know, she ultimately wound up leaving him. And I think it was her lack of faith in God. She did not trust that things were going to be better. So God is the ultimate provider, y'all. What else do I have here? Holding on to a dream with that scanner. Oh, this is good. Okay. So throughout the whole film, you'll see Chris Gardner running around with these scanners, right? And sometimes he gets to a moment where he's literally about to have a breakthrough. Like he's about to have a meeting with somebody. He's about to get, the internship. All these things are happening. And then he'll see a scanner, one of his scanners that somebody done stole or, run it off down the street with. And he will leave his opportunity to go chase his scanner. And when I tell you, that spoke to me so hard because it's like you will leave, what you're the season that you're trying to walk into, you'll leave that to go chase something that you should have let go a long time ago. Because that thing hasn't brought you in no money. The vision is pretty much has perished and you're still chasing after that thing because that's where the money has been coming and you don't trust that the money will come from the new opportunity. Catch that, okay? So he's so busy running after scanners and he should be ushering into a new season in his life. Lord have mercy. Oh, and that's also representative too because it's almost like the son took the place of the scanner as well at times too. Like, a lot of the movie too, you'll see his son holding his hand. So he'll have a scanner in one hand, he'll have his son's hand in the other. And he had that son stuck to him like, right on rice, like right at the hip. And those are the only two things he had. So my last point is that also, like his son gave him the passion and the fuel to chase after his dreams. I think he needed his son more than that son needed him, of course. It's a few times in the film where you could tell he's fighting for his legacy. He's fighting for his son to have a better life. And if the son wasn't around, I don't know if Chris Gardner would have the same passion or the same fire to really go after his dream. This film is so inspirational. It's like that moment, he breaks down throughout the film each moment that he's going through. But at the end, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, but it came out a long time ago. If you haven't seen it already, I'm sorry. But there's a moment at the end where, he gets the job and he walks outside and it's like he doesn't even know what to do with those emotions. It's like this moment right here is what you call happiness. Like all of the things that you fought for, that you've been trying to get done, trying to accomplish, sacrificing, and then the moment where it actually pays off for you is happiness. So, of course, that's from the Declaration of Independence, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We all have the we all have the, I don't even want to say freedom, because do we have the freedom to really pursue happiness? Who's to say? But it's written in the Declaration of Independence. Are you pursuing your happiness? Are you trying to do what everybody else is doing in the world? Or are you pursuing your niche? Are you pursuing your gift, which you're good at, and running with that? Because that, I always say that your path to abundance is not through working for somebody else. The path to abundance is for working for self. It really is. So that's either here nor there. I'm gonna get off my soapbox real quick. And so I tie this all together and to say, when I got to speak to the women this weekend over at Kingdomwood Film Festival and share a little bit of my story, when I tell you Pursuit of Happyness is what I would have to call it, because baby, I have been there. Like, you might see all these videos now, who I'm talking to and all that jazz and traveling and all that. But believe me, it was not easy. I sacrificed a lot. I've been evicted. I've been couch surfing, clothes piled up in the car. And I remember I shared this with the ladies the other day too. I would be driving my car, 1998 Honda Civic, no AC, had to crank the windows down. It was one of them windows. With the extra shirt hung up in the back because I would be done sweated out my shirt in this Georgia heat by the time I got to where I'm supposed to go, and I need to switch my shirt. But I had a picture of this girl, a black girl in Paris with an umbrella, like walking in the rain. And I had it in my dashboard. And every time I would turn a corner, that thing would just like slide back and forth in the dashboard. And I just had a vision of like, I wrote down like, I'm going to get paid to travel. I'm going to see the world. Like, I just had big dreams. And I was willing to sacrifice, to let go of the scanner and pursue my actual passion. And sometimes it does take that leap of faith. So I just say all that to say, follow your dreams, pursue your happiness, chase after your happiness, because then once you get there, it's your happiness that keeps you motivated and keeps the passion burning. So whatever makes you happy, first figure out what makes you happy, what are you passionate about, and chase after that thing. And this video is getting way too long, so I'm gonna cut it there. I hope you enjoyed. Check out the Pursuit of Happyness if you haven't seen it. Bye-bye.
Hey. Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something. Not even me. All right?
Alright.
You got a dream, you got to protect it. People can't do something themselves. They want to tell you you can't do it. You want something, go get it. Period.